7th week of the BB Niger lockdown house. Have the housemates been up to task? I mean, content-wise.
Um, Content-wise, I also think there's been a dearth of content usually because usually by this stage of the competition we already have clear plans that the housemates are going to be engaged in.
I've been entertained, and I think they have done their best.
No, I think if it's the entertainment, there's been an occasional spark up of interest for the viewers, but really by content you really cannot ascertain particular talent and skills from this set of.
We have Lakon. Lakon is an artist, and I think he has been doing his best. We have Lucy, so I'll say Lucy is bringing her own part. Lakon is bringing his own part. V is bringing her own part. Neo is bringing his own part. So I'll say to an extent.
That for me, I haven't really seen any content from the housemates. Okay, right now we just mentioned V. What exactly did you see in V, or what exactly has she done?
She often fights with her boyfriend Neo, especially over food.
This brings me to the question: what exactly did they come for? Did they come for love, for money, or probably to cause wahala? I don't want to compare, but let me take you back. Did you watch that of the Ife season?
Yeah,
I don't know if it's season 5 or 4. There was a lot of content in that, particular show, ranging from Ife to Bisiola to Marvis to Basi, Tintal, Tony. We had loads of them, and then it was very difficult to actually pick out the winner from those.
I think it depends on what exactly you mean by content. What are you looking for?
Like
some people
something to
like
attract us.
Yeah.
There's no content I don't know if you guys are not seeing it.
Do you mean
You're calling,
you want more fights? You want more love scenes? You want more cooking? You want more because, for example, this is lockdown edition.
Don't get me
Artists,
don't get me wrong.
visitors are not coming.
Don't get me
in.
wrong. This is actually a very large platform for this housemates. Whether anyone emerges the winner or not, it's still an opportunity. It's already an opportunity for the person. So you need to showcase something extra that maybe an outside, viewer can say, I'm going to pick this person for so and so. Okay, there was something this guy posted on IG.
Who is that?
For Ubi Franklin for House of Lunet. He was already advertising Nengi because she's always on classes. Like, this is an ambassador for House of Lunet. Stuff like that. Though it's not really catchy, but little things, can.
For me, I'll actually go back to previous editions. I really don't follow much, but Twitter helps to keep one updated. It seems as if these particular sets they are too cozy with one another. That's just my own particular opinion. They are too regimented. They are too stereotyped. Like you mentioned, if one actually requires more fights, not fights per se, but a little altercation just to spice things up in the house, and then what we get to have is couples break up, then they make up, then they break up, then they make up.
Here and there.
Let me tell you, if you're watching Big Brother through Twitter, you're not watching Big Brother per se. So if you are judging the content based on Twitter, you might not get the full gist exactly. Let me ask, who is your favorite housemate so far?
For me, I actually don't have a favorite housemate, but then I think I'll go for Dorothy.
So for me, it's a no-brainer. Lekon is my favorite housemate.
Okay, well for me, it's actually Nengi, and the sole reason is because many people don't like her, so I just chose
So rather than follow the bandwagon,
let me just choose her. Now let's talk eviction. The Big Brother, this edition, the 5th season, they started with a different mode of eviction. They took power from the voters and gave it back to the housemates. So if you vote for your best housemates, the bottom 4, then the housemates get to nominate who they want to stay and who they want to leave.
For me, I wouldn't say they took powers away. I think what happened this time is actually an equilibrium of powers. They made it so that every party has a huge role to play. Prior in the past, you just have a situation whereby people just gang up prior to the nomination day and select their own enemies, and then force the viewers out there to kind of like vote someone. But right now, what you're having is people appreciate those who give them content, they vote for them, and then it is now left for the bottom 4 from the externals for the housemates to now go through a more rigorous psychological situation
Okay,
without those they don't want in the house.
If you're a fan of either Lilo or Kaisha, who were not the bottom, but they were among the bottom four, and the housemates nominated them out. And I, as a fan of either Lilo or Kaisha, I keep, spending my money voting, and I realized she was actually the fourth. She was actually
the highest among the four.
Among the bottom four. She was the
Yes.
highest, and they took her instead of the person that had the lowest votes. How would you feel?
If I was any of the previous persons you mentioned, this is a clear opportunity for us to sue, because you can't change the rules of a football match in the middle of the game. You can't say an offense is liable for a red card in the first half, and then in the second half you suddenly say it's all well and good
thank
to
God
play.
this is not football.
But it's still part of the game, and I don't see anything wrong in it. Whichever way, everybody should take it the way they see it.
Well, now they've switched back to their previous mode of voting,
the old method everyone is aware of.
And now the housemates get to nominate somebody, although they are not aware presently. Then the voters get to pick out of the vote out. So, if you had the opportunity to bring the housemates back into the house, who would you choose to come back?
I'll bring back Brighto.
Brighto gave a good drama in the last stages, but for me, why I really didn't feel too bad about him leaving was why it took him so long to factor out
himself.
Yes, it was clearly a case of he actually wanted the heavy hitters to leave first before.
And I think he was actually too relaxed, because he probably was feeling, and members of the public loves him so much.
There was a point in time I felt Brighto was a fake housemate. If I could bring back any housemate, I think it would be Praise. I think Praise, I really didn't hit it on with him when the game started, but as the weeks went by, I actually saw the amount of impetus. Praise is someone who, his energy is infectious. You could always tap from it, and then, he was friendly with almost all the different groups of persons. So I think if I could bring someone back, it would be Praise.
Well, it would have been between Lilo and Katrina. I think Katrina left too soon. She had more to offer. I am assuming she had more to offer, but
she messed it up.
Katrina was a fighting spirit. She was too bossy, too controlling, and everybody just.
But you think left to the voters, they would have,
Of course.
No, that was the thing. It would have just been a clear case of the housemates will have repeatedly continued to vote her up for elimination, and someday she'll be with some set of the powerhouses, and then she'll have been forced to leave.
Okay, now I know for a while in the past we've heard where some persons or some people or some organization in quotes have said they should close down the show. And this year, the Minister of Information said they should close down the show because of COVID-19 then, but it wasn't closed. So my question is, was that enough reason to have closed the show, or if they had closed the show then, would it have been a good reason for that?
Closing the game down because of the COVID-19 was, and luckily they didn't, because as we can see, this for a long time we didn't have ninjas this year. So Big Brother is trying to reduce the number of people who come and go, and then minimize the amount of external factors that could bring in a disease and infect the housemates. So I think the celebrities that were usually coming during the week, actually they stopped that completely. So it's obvious Big Brother is actually those who come in.
No, they went virtually.
They come virtually.
Pepsi, show they had.
Oh, okay, yes.
Burna Boy.
So I think Big Brother has actually tried to minimize the exposure of the housemates to the virus. So serving as an entertainment to millions, especially in this period, I think it would have been very unfair if the show had actually been cancelled just based on the coronavirus itself.
Who would you want to win the show?
Leko.
I'll still stick to Dorothy.
I think for me, I would actually prefer Lekon to win, but I want Nengi to be second. So fingers crossed for who will be leaving the Big Brother house this Sunday, or if there will be an eviction at all.
We don't know. They did twist a lot.
Thanks for watching today, and don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. I'm Ikeria Olaniyan.
I'm Nicholas Adeshina.
Princess Eunice, still have a lovely day.